Hello everyone, we are here, we are live, we are ready to go, and we are back with my Beautified stock stream. So for people that are new to this particular stream, the idea here is to play a pure stock game other than beautification mods and a handful of UI mods, but nothing that changes the gameplay parts, how those parts work, or anything like that, so that everything that I do here is something that can be done in a purely stock, unmodded game as well. And where we left off last time is I have a craft on its way, well actually no, it's in just low orbit about Kerbin, but it is to land on the surface of the moon, so we'll be getting to that very shortly. As well, as soon as that mission is done, we have another contract to build a Keostationary Orbit, or not the orbit, I'm sorry, a Keostationary satellite that we have to put into orbit. Let me phrase that one more time. A satellite that we need to put into a geostationary orbit above a specific waypoint. So we'll be doing that right after the moon mission is completed, once we got everybody back, hopefully safely. And the other thing actually I want to do with that too is I want to make it into a relay and shuffle it over to the moon, where it'll function as my second relay there. But before we get into all of that, I just want to pop into mission control. I want to do a quick look at the contracts, because for the moon contracts I have a few that I'm doing here. So we got this, bring some Munstone back with you. And if you pick up one of these contracts, make sure to read this bit in bold. It's always really tempting just to cut down to the objectives. What do I got to do? But it does tell you here where to get the Munstone. It says, we suspect you can find one of these in the Northeast Basin, the Polar Lowlands, or Highland Crater biomes. And it does seem like if you go to one of those biomes that they will appear there in a higher concentration, making it easier for you to grab one. One thing that is a little bit problematic is actually there's very little in the game. There's one part in the game that tells you what, I guess you could do crew reports and things like that to tell you what biome you're in, but I would advise, if you really do want to go for a particular biome, is to just get online, Google biome maps. You can get them off the KSP wiki as well, so that you actually know kind of where these places are, because there's very little in the game to tell you where the places are. We also have to deploy the mystery goo observation. This is from the, what is this one? This one is the Breaking Ground DLC that provides a little doober that you can put onto the surface and power and run, and we need to do that for a contract. Plant a flag, that's simple enough. And science data from the surface of the moon. Again, that's pretty simple, either transmit or recover something from the surface of the moon. But while I was over here, I also noticed you might as well bundle as many of these as you can. I was looking down here, which one here? Explore the moon. We have enough, land on the moon. I'm already on my way to the moon. I'm hoping the fact that I've already built and launched this vessel won't bung this up. I'll end up going back to the moon at some point, so even if it does, that's okay. So we're going to end up grabbing this one anyway. This is a fun one. I don't know if we'll get to it today, but I want to have it in reserve, is to repair a satellite in orbit of Kerbin. I kind of really enjoy these ones, so I'm going to grab it as well. How many do I have left? I gotta be careful. Yes, and oh, this is the 6th. Well, when does it expire? Expires in a day, and then I got a rescue contract that expires in 4 days. I'm gonna grab this one. I can only hold up to 7 contracts, so I gotta be a little careful. But I want to keep this rescue one because I enjoy doing those too. Those will all be for the future. Right now, it is off to our moon vessel. So, oh, did I call it Munar 1? I think I did. Actually, I think I just called it Moon Lander last time, and then I renamed it right after the stream to Munar 1, and then I was looking and I realized that actually this is the 3rd crewed vessel to go to the moon. The first one did a flyby of the moon. The second one did a orbit of the moon, and now we're doing a landing of the moon. A very logical progression, if you ask me. But I'm going to rename this now, therefore, Munar 3. So there we go. So this is, I got to come up with better names than just calling it like a moon lander. That's pretty sad. Anyway, let's get ourselves to the moon. So Let's get rid of all the icons I see. I don't like all of that. Okay, so there's the moon. We're going to set that as a target. This is now, like I said, the third time we've gone here. So, and I am trying in this series to, wow, okay, there we go. I am trying in this series to go a little bit slower. It's a little hard sometimes, I will admit, but to go a little bit slower and to try. Yes, I can see the chat there. I sometimes game, but I will admit that I will miss things in the chat. I find it hard to look at two different things at the same time. So, but because I'm not doing anything in the game, I'm suddenly looking at the chat. But I can see the chat, and I will try to respond as best I can. Okay, so let's get ourselves to the moon. But like I said, I try to go a little bit slower. I'll see what I can do. So I want to put myself into a prograde that is around in a counterclockwise direction of the moon, but I want to get this periapsis in closer, and I like to do this using, not everybody likes this little maneuver tool, the little widgety thing, but I do. So the first thing I'm going to do is just move ahead in time until this gets as close as it can just with that, and then we will go in. I'm going to go for about 12 kilometers. See, that's more than close enough. Let's get this down to just a 1 second thing. And again, I'm trying to just get as close as I can. So just by adjusting the time tools, and then that allows me to back off with the retrograde. And then that makes this, you know, being reasonably efficient. There, that's pretty good. So there we go. We got 848 meters per second now. I was just thinking, I wrote down where I'm supposed to go. The northeast basin is this zone here. The polar lowlands, oh, I don't have my, I have to pull up my map, but we're, you know what, I'm going to pull up my map and just sort of see. I want to try and, you really want to think before you get there of where you want to go down. Polar lowlands, I'm looking at the map I have on a different screen. There it is. I know that doesn't help you because you can't see. Oh, it's just the general zone. Isn't there a... Oh, no, that's the poles. Oh, they're little spots around... Okay, there's spots. They're both at the north and the south. Those are going to be hard to hit. And, what else do I got? Sorry. Highland craters. There is a Highland crater. Again, I got to be a little bit careful. One of these... Well, you know, yeah. You know what? Let's just do the burn and we'll think as we go. That's what we'll do. Okay, so this burn's coming up in 15 minutes. We'll do, or 17 minutes. Do a quick save. I'm going to put this on free. Let's get over there. What's the thrust to weight? 1.69. Every once in a while I like to check on how the thrust to weight is doing. I don't like it when it's really huge. But as you lose fuel, of course, your thrust to weight gets higher. Okay. Push that around. So, for our crew, as you can see, we're kind of right down to the original 3. Yes, for those people that don't know, Valentina was a add-on in beta. A valuable add-on, but these were the original 3. Jeb, Bill, and Bob. Okay, I don't like seeing that engine gimbal around, too, so I'm going to do that. Okay. Let's do this thing. So yeah, we'll be doing about halfway a mid-course correction of some kind to try, and so we're not going into an equatorial orbit. And maybe for those people that missed the stream, well, here, let me start the burn and then I'll talk. Got 10 seconds to the burn. But last stream is when I built and launched this thing. So if you want to see the build, you have to go to last week's stream. Boom, we're off. And I think this is the simplest. There's lots of ways of designing a moon mission, and I think this is the simplest one, where you have your lander, which is capable of getting you back home, and then you have a transfer vehicle which will get you out there that you will dump during your descent. Some people like more Apollo style of moon landing, and that's fine too. There's rendezvousing in orbit of the moon where you can launch 2 different vehicles. That's fine too. Lots and different options in design, but I find this one I think is the simplest. Okay, I'm going to go to the moon's view. Let's reduce throttle here a little bit. Throttle a lot. Try and keep it on to that maneuver node. More or less. Here it comes. Okay. And I'm just going to just keep going until this gets around 12. Like I said, we'll probably adjust it anyway. We'll definitely be adjusting it, but that's okay. Okay. So, yeah, see, because I actually did a reasonable job of making this equatorial, this is equatorial, so I do want to put a little bit of... And again, I'm looking, yeah, below the northern basin, which is this zone. I mean, that's a nice big wide zone to go for. That might be worthwhile. And it'll be even in more light as we go out there. Oh no, yeah, it will. I think. Not sure. Moon confuses me with its tidal locking. There are highland craters. They're hard to spot. This guy here might be a highland crater right there. They're hard to spot. Okay, let's do an inclination. I got plenty of fuel. The higher the inclination as far as picking your landing spot, the better. So let's see, and we'll bring this in again. So a little bit of normal there, and a little bit of retrograde to bring that back. Oh, prograde, sorry. Actually, maybe, I always like to check. Let's put this back to 0. Go back to here. What affects your in and out more? Because sometimes it's radial. So like, give yourself a little bit of radial does that much, and prograde does that much. So prograde is the better way to go. But it's worthwhile checking. Okay, so I want that around 12 kilometers. I'm starting to think the northern basin might be the easier target here. See, and then that will give me... You got to remember your inclination, maybe a little bit higher. Okay, and now back in. Prograde. Oh, that's going on totally polar. I don't need to go totally polar. A little less that way. A little more retrograde. Don't need to go totally polar. Though, I mean, that's the ultimate way of making sure you get over every possible landing spot is to put yourself polar. I think that'll do it. I think that'll do it. We'll do it like that. So we'll come in, nice jaunty slant on our orbit. Okay, so that's coming up in 1 hour and 14 minutes. Notice it's only a 1 second burn. So what I like to do, put this back on orbital. What I like to do is just turn down the thrust limiter on this so that the burn is longer. Because I find doing really tiny short burns to be actually kind of awkward. I don't know why I'm being so picky. There we go. And also, yeah, the view is nice. Also, once we're into, there we are, over 250, we're in high space. Now, we have been in high space before, but it's worth, especially for the goo. Oh, maybe not, 0.4. Maybe that wasn't worth it. Materials pay was 0.4 science. What about the goo? 0.2 science. Okay, okay, well, now that I've collected it, might as well get it. So collect that one, and it is Bob. Yep, we can restore that. Some people were asked, I was getting asked in the chat before the stream started, because I like to sort of jump in there about 15 minutes before the stream starts, is, does ReStock really make that much of a difference? As far as appearance goes, that's the, ReStock retextures the parts. I find you get more options as far as textures go, but it does change some parts. Like I really like, if I open these doors, I love the new materials bay. That's ReStock. Look at all that stuff in there. Isn't that awesome? Like, That's just crazy. I won't close the doors again. But it does change a lot of the part. But in no way... But somebody was saying, I don't know if it really makes that much of a difference. I think it does. I think it makes a difference. But I guess it's a personal thing. Okay, boarding. All right. I guess we're going to this. Let's go. Okay, so this is just a mid-course correction. So I'll put this on to, again, the little icon on the Navball. I've turned down my thrust limiter so that the burn's like 8 seconds long. I'm going to watch it from the moon. There's no reason to wait for this to get to 0 because I never really was that accurate in its positioning. It was just about halfway. So we'll just burn it right now. Cut. And I want to look at this periapsis. Did I get the right one? I don't think I did. No. That one. I want that to be about 12. I don't know why 12. I like 12. Getting way too picky. There we go. Okay, so we are on our way. I think that should give us a good inclination. So the next piece of this is simply, do I know any other languages? I'm not sure if that's directed at me. Unfortunately not. I really, really am terrible. Here, let's just warp to here. I've tried and I'm really bad at learning languages. I have really actually quite an abysmal memory. And memorizing vocabulary for me is very, very difficult. Okay, here we come. Coming to the moon. And just looking for the Navball switch here. There it goes. So that tells me I've switched SOIs. Let's see if there's more science to do. We can again conduct a material study. We've been to the moon a couple times before, so there might not be much. 2.4. And the mystery goo. 1.1. I'm sure there's nothing in all the rest of this. Yeah, why am I even checking? There's nothing. Alright, Bob, get out there. And we'll plan our capture. And then get to the main show, which of course is going to be landing. Because everything we've done so far is all stuff we've done before. Restore that. Collect that one. Restore that. Okay. Little, wait, am I? No, I'm not. Let's get this right vertical. There we go. Okay, capture time. So is this still, always check, because sometimes it changes with the time warping. We'll get ourselves a capture here. A little bit of tweaking again with the timing. Oops, a little bit too much, I think. There we go. 12 by 12. Okay, let's do it. Now it's saying this burns 1 minute and 18 seconds, but don't forget I did dramatically turn down that throttle. Now it's saying 12 seconds. That's a little quick. 17 seconds. There we go. Whatever. 18. That's good. Okay, F5. F5. We got to get you in the habit of using the experiment storage unit. Never, Trav. I shall never use that because I like EVAing. But to each their own. To each their own. All right. Actually, I can probably just keep this locked to prograde. It's going to be so close. All right, coming in nice and close. I guess I could probably do another material study and stuff. Still would have to send the scientist out to reset the experiment. The goo and stuff. So, I mean, Might not have saved me that much time having the experimental storage unit. Of course, the whole surface of the moon there is being retextured, making KSP look just as pretty as KSP2. I don't care what anyone says. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and off. Nope. Got a little camera jerk there. Put this on free. Free's best. There we go. Free is best when you're close to a body, and orbit's best when you're far. Okay, I'm going to reduce throttle, and I'm really looking just at my apoapsis and periapsis and just getting them close. There they go. That's close. Okay. So we're on here. Now again, I like to turn so I'm 90 degrees to this galaxy for just the solar panels. I don't know if it's necessary, but for those people that are retentive like me, that really want those kinds of things, put yourself on the north line, right? That's that circle that goes all the way around, and then it switches to south at the poles. And now just simply follow that line until you are 90. This is what works if you're on any kind of inclined orbit. So follow the line until you are now perpendicular to the galaxy, and it's perpendicular like all the way around. And then that's good for my solar panel exposure. Okay, let's do, again, just a little bit of science. Conduct a material study. Anything useful? 3.6 science. We'll get the big science down on the surface. And go. Okay, and get a scientist. Now I might be able to get EVA reports if I end up going over a new biome. We're in a more inclined orbit than I've ever been in before, so should keep a lookout for that. Collect. And on the, oh wait, restore. Down on the other side. Collect that one. And restore. Okay. And all the other stuff I know. Unless I can do another EVA report. One more EVA? No. I'll be going over the those polar, that northeast basin. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, northeast basin? I was looking at, oh, that's the polar, oh no, northeast basin. No, I got it right. Never mind. I'm good. All right, let's look back at the map. Oh, I think this is going to work out great. This zone here is the northeast basin. And I'm really thinking I can probably just land in there anywhere. And again, the only reason I'm going for the northeast basin is because that's where the contract is telling me I have some Munstone. Oh, speaking of contracts, I do have, if I open up my contracts, that was my mistake, Contracts Plus. And these are all my contracts I have. Oh, repair satellite, hide that one, but all the rest of these are all one. These are all I want to do, so I'll keep these nearby. There we go. Okay. So let's land on the moon. I don't think I need to adjust this. I don't think I need to do anything. I think I'm just going to go for in around here. So what I like to do, and everybody I think is a little different on this front, is I like to go pick sort of a landing zone, so maybe around here, and then I go about a third of an orbit ahead of that. So around here-ish, I would say. So we'll time warp this way. Let's get rid of those communication lines. They're a distraction. About there. Quarter to a third of an orbit, and then I'll put it on the retrograde vector. And we're just going to burn retrograde. I like to come in nice and shallow. It is more efficient to come in shallow though it is trickier. Some people like to just kill their speed and drop, but I like to come in nice and shallow. But you do want to watch that you know, especially for high terrain, that you don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to end up hitting it. That's pretty good. And, you know, we'll be killing our velocity around here-ish. That's what I'm going to go for. And I come back to here, and it is uber dark. Holy cannoli. Okay. Hopefully that will rectify itself once the sun comes up. I think if I leave and come back and reload the scene, I think this is a scatterer thing. I think it will be less black, but I don't think that's worth it. So the sun's going to be coming up soon. And I put this on terrain. I put this on surface. It should change automatically, but I find sometimes it doesn't. And I also want to roll the Navball so that blue is up. I find that all helps me in my orientation. And I like to keep the camera on free so the ground is below me. That to me always helps. And then we'll time warp till we're closer. And come on, sun. It's already killing the time warp for us. How close are we? Oh, whoa, whoa, we're pretty darn... Oh my gosh, it's dark. Okay, let's kill time warp. I might try and go a little bit further. Now to test, if I do a crew report, is crew reports biome specific? No. But if I EVA Bob real quick and do an EVA report. Oh, we're on the moon's lowlands. Oh boy. I hope I don't end up botching this. Okay, we're watching this. It says still lowlands. I thought this would be the northern basin. This is much darker than I thought it was going to be. Come on, sun, where are you? Okay, I'm watching my altitude because I really can't see the ground. Oh no, are we in an eclipse? The sun has just dipped behind Kerbin. Or is it just coming up? I can't tell. That's what's going on. That's why it's so dark. Okay, this might be more of an adventure than I was hoping it would be. Okay, I'm going to start killing velocity because I can see I'm less than a kilometer from the ground. This is turning into a less than routine landing. But I can see I am not that far off the surface, so I'm pitching up a little bit. Normally I wouldn't do that, but I'm a little paranoid about my lack of... My altitude worries me. I've got some upness happening. I can probably calm down a little bit. I have a lot of fuel, so that's good. Okay, I'm just going to kill my horizontal speed. The reason it's so dark is because of the Kerbin eclipse. That's not cool. Okay. I ended up giving myself some up. So I'm just going to kill my altitude here, or my vertical speed. So I want to get this retrograde vector up to the top. Sorry it's so black. If I was thinking ahead, I would have waited. Okay, I just want to drop straight down. Boom. So when this is at the top, we are going straight down. I only have 23 meters per second left. Oh my gosh, it's dark. Is it still? I think we are just going into an eclipse. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's quick save because this is going to get sketchy. This is going to get sketchy quick. Okay, let's lose that. Okay, empty stage. Gear. I know people cannot see a thing. I'm hoping the next moon landing will go better, but I'm really in a situation where I don't. That is something hitting the ground. For some reason we can... Oh, we're really close. Full throttle. Oh my god, we're down. Alright, that was terrible. That was like a complete... You can't see anything. Oh my gosh. So what we're gonna do... I know nobody could see anything there, and I'm so sorry. I wish I quick saved before I started that descent, so that people could see what was going on. But we are sitting on the surface. Everything is fine. So what I'm gonna do Fortunately, the sun has disappeared behind Kerbin, so I'm just going to time warp to get the sun on the other side. The lights are on. The lights are on. It's just something going on with Scatterer. There's something that happens with the... Here. Once the sun's up, we should be fine. There, see? Now the lights are coming back. But, like, for some reason, Scatterer kills, like, everything in an eclipse. I'm not quite sure. I don't know if I quite understand it. Wow, we are on a bit of a jaunty slant, aren't we? A little bit of a jaunty slant. I could see nothing. But Jeb, of course, can literally do this blindfolded. So sorry about that. That was... now, I'm going to just test turn off the SAS. So I'm a little worried. Okay, it seems to be sitting still. All right. And we have a communication, so that's good. Well, that's because we can see Kerbin. Okay, let's collect some science. Let's start doing all the rest of this stuff. Oh, are we in the basin, the northern basin? We're in the Midlands. That is stinky poo-poos. I don't like that. Shoot, we're not where we... So we got to go look for some Munstone. That's not cool. So I was hoping to land in the northern basin, but I think I'm a little bit too far north. I think I need to be... well... Wow, I was really close. Look at that. I almost landed on the edge of this crater. Thank you, NC Davis, for the donation, for the blind. I guess that was for a blind log temperature. Grab that. You know what we might as well do? Let's review this data. We can transmit just one of them, and that should satisfy one of the contracts. So we've done the Explore the Moon part to land on the moon. We've now transmitted some science. So, might as well do that. Log temperature. I'm a little bit frazzled. I don't know if people can tell. Did the crew report? I guess that's it. So we'll get Bob out. We'll do some collecting. Moonstones are in all... I know moonstones are in all the moon biomes, but I think they really do put it in at a higher concentration. I'm just watching that this isn't going to tip over now that the SAS is off. We are not in possession of ladders as of yet. So, so we have to just jetpack our way around. Bill can come next. I'm very paranoid about this thing falling over. RCS on. Bop. Okay. Bill. Alright, and... Oh, that's Jeb. That's Bob. Hello there. Is it Ajoy Rockets? We'll go with that. Okay, bomb. Now, actually, now I'm thinking about it. Open the cargo bit. Move that over. Bob needs his EVA experiment kit. So we'll put the parachute away. What's that? Okay, Bob. Alright, so Bob can do a few experiments still. He can do an EVA report for 32 science. He can do a surface sample. Take a surface sample for 120 science. And we also, let's point him in a way that he's not going to hit the, not that it matters, but the golf ball there. So we're going to do the perform EVA science, which is to get out his golf club. And there we go. Yeah. I'm sorry for people that were watching this on how to do a landing. I would say my first rule for how to do a landing is not to land in the dark. Not to land while we are in a Kerbin eclipse. Okay, so we got to collect some science here. So I'm going to just get up. Up we go. I did put a little ladder piece right there so Bob can hang. Is this moving? We are moving. Okay, be careful. Bob gave this a nudge. Okay, take that data. Collect science. Restore. Collect. Restore. take... is that everything? That's it. Oh, and the crew report. Can we reach it from up here? I don't think we can. No. Okay, let go there, Bob. Bob's just gonna tumble. Yeah, if I could see the ground, I wouldn't have landed on such a... Okay. Oh, he's on top. Nicely done. Okay, let's store all the experiments. We're also going to take that crew report, restore it. Okay, we are in the lookout for Munstone. I think I already see some. Let's get up, like, you can see some of these textures. There's a mix of, no, this isn't Munstone, but I'm going to put myself down next to this rock and we'll talk a little bit about all of these rocks that we see. Oh, Bob. Alright. So, that is a big rock. Holy cow. So, a lot of these textures are being provided by or a lot of these rocks are actually there from the Parallax mod. They are non-interactive. I have it Parallax set so that these aren't even... They don't have any kind of collision mesh around them. You can actually turn that on, though. If I had landed in one of these rock fields with the collision mesh turned on, that might have gone really badly. This is one of the stock textures, but it's not anything. You can go right into it. But what I need to find is some moonstones. So let's see if we can find any. Because obviously, here, let's just get rid of the contract window for a bit. They look a little... Now, I could go and turn off the stock textures. That might make it stand out a little bit. I might just do that. Here, let's turn on setting. If I go into settings, I hope this doesn't require a restart. And get into video and graphics. Where is... I might not be... I'm just... turning off this what's the scatter. I don't think I can do it from here. No, I'm looking for there is a setting for turning that you can turn off all the terrain scatter. That's the term I'm using, but I think I have to actually go to the main menu for that. Okay, so I am still looking for though Moonstone. I think I might have just seen some. Like right there. They're littler rocks. Okay, let's get Bob to fly in that direction. Now, one thing you want to do if you're going to EVA around is really keep an eye on your EVA propellant. Because if you do not, Bob's walking home. So I'm going to go this way. And give myself, I'm pushing the W key to give myself some forward momentum. And then I'm really just using the shift key to give myself some up every once in a while. And I'm really watching on the Navball this, the prograde icon. Because if it's in the brown, you're going down a little bit. And if it's in the blue, you're going up. I need to go down because we're going into this crater. But if I get around half my propellant, I probably should be turning around and going back. Is that Moonstone over there? There's every turn. It's very pretty though. Okay, if this is not Moonstone, I should be heading back. I'm starting to doubt it is. As I am almost at half propellant. It is not. Okay, I'm going to put them down a little more gently this time. If it's Moonstone, you can go up to it and then you can go take a sample, but it's not there as an option. And actually, it's got a collision around it. Yeah, fuel bingo. That's what we're playing right now. I still got to plant a flag. Don't let me forget that. But I know if I landed in the correct biome, there'd be a lot more. But there should be some, and I don't want to go back without doing this contract. I won't spend a huge amount of time. If it ends up coming that we have to bail to collect the Munstone bit, we will. Oh, that's our lander right there. See him? Right there? Still upright, so that's a good sign. Alright, let's head back. I think that would be wise. Now notice, actually, I've lost my waypoints. This is one of the more common questions I get on my channel is I can't see these waypoints that you see. It's F4, and I don't know, they toggle off every once in a while. Sometimes I guess I do it and forget. So I gotta go that way. So RCS on, let's go. So we'll, as we head back, and I'm just going to, again, try and use as little propellant as I can as I head back. So no more pushing forward. I'm simply pushing the H every once in a while, or a shift key every once in a while to give myself some up. Because I don't want to crash. While we're going, if anybody spots Munstone, scream. Okay, we got to get some up. I think we're okay. Of course, all the terrain scatter that's there doesn't make it easier. If you play pure stock and turn off the terrains... Oh, we're way high in the air. Bob, 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 Bob. I always blame Bob, but you know it's me, right? Of course it's me. And we're down. Okay. So Bob's back. And by the way, if you go back in, he refills it. But let's plant a flag. Plant a flag. Jeb's got to plant a flag. So plant a flag. That was one of our contracts. Okay. So contract's gone green. This is the Munar 3. It is... Jeb, Bill, and Bob. Where is that bloody Munstone? All right. And then what we'll also do is, so that contract is done, deploy the mystery goose stuff. So where is Bill? The flag, that is Bob, that is Bill. Okay, we'll get Bill close. Hopefully his arms are long enough. Oh, was Bob's altimeter on sea level? I didn't even notice that part of it. Yeah, let's... All of them are. Let's get rid of our contract window for now. So if I open up the... There, oh yeah, we can see it. So we want to get the control unit. Actually, let's get the solar panels first. So you want to get the solar panels. That's this. So we're going to grab that from one of our containers, and we want to give it to Bob. Now, one thing to notice is you can't carry it and the EVA pack at the same time because it's too big. So you got to put the EVA pack temporarily away. Why don't we put the parachute away for now, too? Okay, and we can close that. And where are we going to deploy this thing? So these are the solar panels. So to deploy the solar panels, notice there's a little down arrow. So we simply put down the down arrows. You can, with J and L, rotate these around. And you just press the escape to cancel and space to place the part. We'll just place the part. There we go. And there's some nice animation. And again, this is coming from the Breaking Ground DLC. So we need these solar panels to power our units here. Now we need a control unit. And I honestly know it's I always get confused on this. It's best to have a scientist for some of the stuff and an engineer for some of the other stuff. So let's get Bob. Bob is going to grab... This is the goo container, I think. And then I'll think about... Yeah. And we'll put that EVA kit over here. We don't need the science thing anymore either. Okay. Close that. So Bob will deploy the goo thingamajob. And all you have to do is get it within reasonable distance, and these things kind of all just see each other. Okay. Let's see. Come on, Bob. Where are you going? That way. That works. Okay, and then he'll put it down. And then the last thing is the control unit, and that's the part I know. Do I want an engineer? I'm going to use a scientist for it. It might not matter. It might not matter. So Bob will take that. We'll put the control unit. Okay, so we'll drop the control unit. I do like doing stuff on EVA, and then that will deploy itself. That gives us our communication back to Kerbin, and also runs all the rest of this, the control unit, right? So I'm gonna get Bill. Bill's going to check on the solar panels, because there's some things you just gotta do. So I'm gonna right click on here. And it says the solar panels are not producing any power. But if I get Bill to, there it is, F to interact. So Bill's going to perform his magic here. Yep, of course hitting it on the side. And now, oh, maybe I need to turn on the control panel first. I always get this stuff mixed up. Okay, Bob. Maybe Bob needs to turn on the control panel. Let's interact with that one. So Bob's going to try and turn his equipment on here. Maybe that's what I need to do. Oh, it says total power needed 2. Total power available is 2. So things are working, I think, okay now. This one. Why does it say still 0? Okay, I don't know. Now Bob will come over to the goo experiment. Again, I want to get that interact. Okay, and I think this is now on. I think we're working. Power units required 1. State is powered. So I think I got it right. Where's Bill? Bill, what's this one say? This still says, whatever. It says state. I think it's working. I think it's where someone's saying it's a glitch. Engineer for solar panel, scientist for the science payload, control station. It shouldn't matter. Thank you, thank you. I was beginning to suspect that, but I know I've messed that up in the past. I think everything is good now, because I think if I click on this, it says it is powered. I'm pretty sure it's good. And then this one says it's powered. Now on the contracts, let's find the deploy. I have to collect 50% of the goo that's available. So I think this thing is now collecting science. Yes, it is. Science completed 0.01%. So we're going to have to leave it here to do its business. This contract isn't going to be satisfied for a little while, but we're going to put it away. So our last thing we got to do, is find some Munstone. I'm going to do one last sweep. One last look. Oh, there's our an engine that's blown up. One last look for Munstone, and if I don't see it, I think I'm going to call this, because I do not want to spend all of this time simply... Okay. Let's get Bob. Now, Bob's EVA pack is 100% empty. How did it end up being 100% empty? Oh, because he doesn't have one. See how that works? He doesn't have one, of course. So, open this up. We need to get an EVA pack back on Bob. I did give it to Bob, right? And although the bar's not there, it does say 5 of 5, so I'm assuming it's okay. So I'm going to head off just in a different direction. And hopefully we'll spot something. Yeah, Bill needs one too. I know that. Whoa! Jeez, we're going, that was close to the surface there. Okay, so, come on, Bob. Ooh, it's a little hard to see without the... There's our debris from our transfer stage. So what we want to do, we're going to use up about half this fuel. A little less than half the fuel. And we're looking for Munstone. And it's just a differently staged, shaped rock. Is that something there? No, that's a decoupler. I saw something unusual. It's a decoupler. From obviously our blown up stage. Okay. I'm about 4 out of 5 units of monoprop still left, so we're okay. Okay, gotta be a little careful diving into here. Moonstones are tiny, yeah, and it really does help. If I thought ahead, I would have turned off all of this terrain scatter, but what I need to do is go back to the main menu to do that, and I don't think that's really worth it. So I'll put we'll come back to the moon at some point, and we'll look for it again. Okay, I'm at just under 4 units of monoprop. Yeah, the Moonstone's really tiny. And it just looks different from all the rest of it. Oh, wait. Stop. I might have just imagined something. I think I did. Oh boy, Bob. Get up. Get up. I thought I saw something in here, but I think it was just the way the sun was off these rocks. These rocks are pretty. These are all, again, collisionless, right? See that? I did not make this easy on myself with all of this stuff. Okay, where's our fuel? We got 3 units. Let's do a quick looky-loo around. And if I don't see it, we really are calling it. And then I'll come back to the moon sometime and we'll turn off all this terrain scatter and then... Doesn't help when the camera doesn't want to go close to the surface. It really makes the Kerbals look small when you zoom out like that against all the rocks. Okay, we're going to go back on a slightly different path than what we came here with. Terrain Feature Finder mod. Ooh, that's an interesting idea. I'm hearing mention in the chat. Yeah. I've never had, if I turn off the terrain scatter, I've never had trouble finding it, but I really think with both Parallax and my own terrain and the stock terrain scatter on, I think this is really too frustrating. So where's Bob? There's Bob. Let's get Bob back. Okay, so there's all our waypoints. We'll go back a little bit of a different path. Alt F12. Oh, Alt F12. Okay, let's see this. In Alt F12, we'll put blue arrows on them. IIRC. Okay, so I got to look at this. People are telling me I'm learning something. I'm learning something. Cheats? Physics? I gotta find out. Oh, breaking ground. There's a separate thing. Surface terrain features. Enable surface feature stats gathering. Surface feature finder. Are you kidding me? Surface feature scan points. What does surface feature finder do? There's a lag in the chat, which isn't helping either. Okay, Alt F12. Surface feature scan points. Enable surface feature stats gather. I don't know what any of this means. Is this supposed to help me? Should be arrows over things now. Okay. Maybe there's nothing around here. Maybe this is an exercise in futility because I do not see any arrows. Okay, let's head back. Let's head back. And if we see arrows on the way back, we'll get them. But if we don't, we don't. Remember, I am in the biome. Not in the biome, they said. Hello, Japanese Keith. All right. I mean, at least the views are pretty. You won't miss the arrows. They're huge. Okay. Okay, so it might be just that this is, there's none around here. Maybe that's all it is. If I see one, we'll go for it for sure. But maybe I just landed in the only place in the moon where there is not any moonstone. You know what's going to end up happening, I can already predict this, is we're going to... I'm just going to go right inside with Bob. I'm going to end up giving up, lifting off, and in the process of lifting off, we'll suddenly see it below us. When it's too late. Okay, the hatch is right here. So we'll board. In you go, Bob. Let's scroll out again. One last look for blue arrows that they say are huge. But I see nothing. Let's do the... Okay. All right. Let's get everybody aboard. Let's go home. Going home. Going home. Jebediah. RCS pack on. Up you go. Come on. Oh, he's stuck on the flag, I think. Up you go. So the equipment that we deployed will continue to run in the background with us without us having to do anything. Jeb is showing his skills by just climbing up on top here. There we go. Board. And Bill. We shan't leave anyone behind. So this will just continue collecting goo. Once it gets to 50%, then our contract is complete. We do need... Bill needs an EVA... Or a... Bill needs an EVA pack. So let's not steal it from Bob or Jeb. Here, we'll take this one. Bill, there we go. We'll also get... Let's organize their parachutes again. Everybody... Oh, look at that. We somehow have an extra parachute. I remember there is some kind of goofy bug that spawns parachutes. We came here with 3 and now we have 4. I do not understand. I'm not going to worry about it though. Not going to worry about it. Up, 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 up we go. And board. Okay, so in order to get out of here, we're going to launch straight to the east. It doesn't matter that we're quite a ways north on the surface, so I always get mixed up which way's east. Well, that way must be south. So east must be this way. I'll probably get it wrong. But 90 degrees on the Navball I know is east, so we'll go launch up and east. Yeah, that worked. And you want to pitch over pretty quickly. And full throttle until our apoapsis gets around 12 kilometers. And we're going to end up going into a bit of an inclined orbit. The one thing you do have to be careful about is you don't pitch over so quickly you hit terrain, but I think we're good. You do want to watch for that. Yeah, we got parachutes breeding on us. That's funny. So it's like coat hangers in your closet. So where do all those coat hangers come from? Okay, cutting off just about there. Okay, and here's the part where I'll see an arrow over top marking some Munstone. Maybe I need to restart in order to see those the arrows that people are talking about. I don't know. Okay, put this back on orbit. Put this back on sea level. We have plenty of fuel. We'll watch till our time gets up towards Apoapsis. It's only letting me time warp so fast. Oh, I can go a little quicker now. Okay. Whoop. And we'll just get our orbit and then we'll head back. You know, it's kind of interesting. I got a couple of comments over the week, both very similar about, isn't it better if you're heading back to just, sorry, I'm just about there. Here, let's start throttling up. To go straight up and just aim straight at Kerbin. And I found that just, whoa. I found that just an interesting comment. No. Now, it is possible that you can do this without going into orbit first if you land in the right place. But the right place is to be where you would have put the maneuver, like right under where you would have put the maneuver node anyway. There we go. That's got that. But I found the comment of, isn't it better to go straight? It's like, no, you don't want to go straight up. It's straight against gravity. Oh, thank you very much, Omkar. Omkar W. The generous donation. Okay, so we are in this very highly inclined orbit, which might make it interesting getting back to Kerbin. We'll see. But the basic premise is still the same. You're going to put a maneuver node and go prograde so that you are going off in a retrograde direction relative to your orbit about the moon's orbit about Kerbin. So you want this trajectory to go in this direction. Now you can see we're off a little bit, but it really isn't bad. Let's put a little bit more oomph into this. It really isn't bad at all. I'm probably going to have to burn a little bit more. It's about 280 normally. Oh, that's too much. Why am I having challenges with this here? There we go. And you can play around with the timing a little bit to see if that gets that. Yeah, that's getting the periapsis lower, lower, lower. So a little later the burn. But I probably can't get right into the atmosphere. Oh, I'm a little bit in the atmosphere. It's not bad. So I actually got kind of lucky because the plane of this orbit is pretty close to being in this line of the moon going around in its orbit, so that I'm not going off on too much of an angle here. But if you find yourself, like, instead of shooting off like this, you're kind of shooting straight out that way or straight at Kerbin, what you do is you simply pop ahead in orbit and that will change it. But I don't think I need to. You can see how popping ahead in orbit brought the periapsis down by itself, but it looks to me like I don't need to do that. I just need to give myself a little bit more prograde, and we're going to be getting back. I go for about 35 kilometers. There we go. Let's go. Let's go. So, burn's coming up in 27 minutes. This should be full throttle. Yep. Okay. F5. Or time warp. Dummy. There we go. I'm looking, I still have 705 meters per second left. I might have been able to do a little hop, but I don't think it's worth it. Not worth the risk. Oh, the Soviets did do that. It's tricky and sensitive to errors, though. That's launching straight into your ejection, so to speak. To be honest, for people that watch the recent launch of the JUICE mission on its way to Jupiter that the European Space Agency launched less than just a few days ago, it went straight into its ejection. It did not go into a parking orbit around Earth. It went straight into its ejection, so that meant that it had to launch within a very narrow time window. But that's what it did. So it certainly is possible to do it, and I'm sure there are fuel savings associated with doing it, but it is tricky. It's much, much easier just to go into orbit. All right, let's see. Doop, doop, doop. Oh, yeah, and JUICE is doing so many gravity assists. I think those have become... It's going... Here, just wait. 3, 2, 1. Is it getting an assist from the moon? I can't remember. But it certainly is getting an assist from Venus, a couple assists from Earth. Yeah, but that's what makes it possible for such a small probe to get itself all the way to Jupiter. Okay, just gonna keep burning this way until my periapsis is down. And then we're gonna get into that Keostationary Orbit thing. Alright, me happy with that. Goodbye, Moon. We did all right. We didn't get the one Munstone contract, but we'll be back. We shall be back. Oh, you don't need to be able to reignite an engine. Yeah, in the real world, that would be an advantage. In KSP, these guys can ignite as many times as we want. Didn't think about that. Thanks, John. Okay. Have we crossed SOIs yet? I don't think so. Oh, I think we have. Yep, we're coming towards Kerbin. Always watch this time to periapsis because it's way too easy, I find, to over time warp this, because it feels like you're going towards it so slowly, and then all of a sudden, like, you just come blasting in. So I like to watch this time to apoapsis, or periapsis, sorry. Like, we're only 35 minutes from periapsis. And then we'll find out how this roundy pod does during its descent through the atmosphere. Okay, all the science is stowed in here. I remember collecting it all. It has built-in... Yes, it does. Being asked. The ablator is... This whole thing surrounded by ablator. You can see it's up here. So the whole capsule is ablated, if that's a word. I guess ablated is actually probably taking off the ablator. Anyway, here we are. So we're 80 kilometers. So I'm just going to stage... Get rid of that, and I don't think I have any SAS anymore. Or there are no reaction wheels in these. Like, I do not think I have any control of this anymore, no. But the parachute's armed, so we should be good. We are now in the atmosphere, and it should orient itself. Yep, there it goes. Oh. That makes me nervous. Let's just let it do its own thing. Yeah, I can see why people don't tend to use these roundy ones. That you unlock them pretty close to unlocking the regular ones, and they really, other than being a tad bit lighter, they really don't provide a lot of advantage. Especially if I happen to land on the side of the hill and this thing goes rolling, which has happened to me before, which I didn't quick save. They can go rolling on you. But yes, somebody's mentioning with the unkerbal start, which modifies the tech tree, you get these roundy capsules long before you get the other types of capsules. Which feels right, because I think they are, like, more primitive. Okay, I think let's go to 2 times speed. Someone's saying, I have faith in you. Right now, our faith is completely in gravity, so I have no control. But you don't have to worry about a heat shield because the ablator's built in. And I remember being a little worried about this parachute, this single parachute on the top. But I was assured it's going to be fine as far as slowing it down enough. Guess we're going to find I really don't have... Ugh. I'm hoping the terrain's not too hilly. Do a crew report. We're over highlands. Now they do all have parachutes. So actually this would be a good time to quick save, because if this thing ends up rolling into its own destruction, what I can do is deploy, is just drop everybody and go in parachutes. But now let's slow down here. I'm thinking it's okay. We're not missing mountains by much, that's for sure. No idea where we are. Slow down. Alright, that should be good. Remember, there are no reaction wheels in this, so if it starts to roll, she's gonna roll. But I'm thinking I might be okay. I think I'm okay. Oh, we got some nice ferns below us here. Ooh, right beside the flowers. There we go. Where are we? Crew report in Highlands. Okay, Bob's getting out and doing some stuff. Oh, did I throw away? Shoot, I threw away his golf clubs. Oh, and the grass just spawned too. And giant flowers. Bigger than Bob. I threw away his golf clubs. I could have done one of those. Or maybe I don't. I can't remember if I can do it or not. Okay, and do a surface sample. And that's good. Alright, let's get back. Well, you're very welcome there, ScopeX. Let's get Bob back inside. Oh, come on, Bob. He's having a little trouble grabbing the hatch. Really? I don't want to... I do not want... Let's take his helmet off. I don't want to rescue you separately, Bob. Or recover you separately. I want you all in there. Oh, I saw it. Oh! Further. Oh, one more try. One more try. One more try. Okay, now 2 more tries. Oh, this is frustrating. I think it rolled a little bit away, too. Okay. Oh, maybe if you got him pushed. Whatever. We're in now. Recover. Being asked, what mods do I tend to use when I'm just playing for fun? You know what? I haven't just played for fun in a while. I do like the modified tech trees, particularly unkerbal start. I do love kerbalism. That adds just so many elements into the game. I really would love to play with the je ne sais quoi scale sometime and play that with just stock parts. I think that would be a fun thing to do. So there, I mentioned, I think, some of the bigger ones. Okay, what's that? 502 science, total of 612. Got them back. Got some experience gain. Still all level 1s. That's okay. Got, of course, a stack of milestones. Explore the moon. Okay, let's see here. We have 612 science. Yeah, let's finish off this tier with aerodynamics. That'll get me the Weasley engine so we can build ourselves a good... And also here, now we can get the real Mark 3, Mark 1-3 command pod. Grab that. This is deployable solar panels. Sure, let's be a little calm. Should I go up here? There is our mainsail engine. I probably do want that. And one more of these bigger ones. So we got fuel cans. That is a really wide one. The Morocco Max, slanty. Oh, those are some nice ones. Big fairings, slanty. See, it always gets hard when you got just one that you can pick there. Landing gears. No. What do we got down here? Ladders. Oh, and the scanning arm thing. That might be fun. Maybe you'll do a rover. Let's think. Down here we do have more the weather station. More relay antennas. Better probe body. The hex. Little parts. I think I should go... You know what? I'm thinking getting the scanning arm. Might get a rover or something contract from that. Okay. Well, welcome. I'm glad you've tuned back in there, Toby. All right. So there we go. Just warp to sunrise. We've got to build ourselves a geostationary satellite. That took longer than I anticipated, but it always does. It always does take longer than I anticipated, but let's see what we can do here. So we're looking at, let's put all these over here. Not the repair satellite. Oh, that's got to wait. Okay, this one. Position a satellite in a geostationary orbit. That's the one. So, unmoon, just always got to look through these. There's the orbit we need. It's got to have a Science Junior aboard. It's got to have a Mystery Goo aboard. Okay. Let's do this. See if we can do this quick. So, I need the probe body. And we also are going to need... I have no plan, by the way. I should state that right up front. I have zero plans. No plan for me. But we got to put on... Let's put on what we really should have to put on, which is... Because of the contract, unfortunately, even though it has zero value, I'm going to put this stuff on. I also want to turn this into a relay that we're going to put in orbit about the moon just to make some kind of use of it. And there we go. So I'm going to put on 2 of these, what are they? The HG5 antennas. That should work like that. Okay, so now I got what's required. A little bit of electricity is probably a good idea, and some solar generation. So I do have these guys. You know what, let's put on 2 of these. It's going to be tall anyway. Let's put the goo up here. No. Put the goo back where it was. And let's get some of these Oxstat solar panels, turn them this way. Go with 6. Like so. Local, and we'll just pull these out a little bit. That looks all right, I think. Solar generation. Okay, and I just want to make sure I got everything I really do need on it. I think I do. So the budget, a budget. So Keostationary Orbit is to get from low orbit about Kerbin to geostationary orbit is 1100 meters per second, but I also want to transfer it out to the moon, which is a further 380. Should be writing these things down. And then 380 plus 1100 is 1480. So I'm going to write that number down. So 1480 meters per second. And if this thing is going to deal with the top part of the Kerbin insertion of its ascent, I'm going to add about another 1,000 on that. So I'm looking at around 1580. Let's see. Now I could do this in no, I don't want to do it in a couple of stages because that'll end up meaning debris floating around. I'd rather not do that. So vacuum, that's 24. Wow, I'm already way over. Okay, so we don't need anything as big as this. Where's the smaller fuel can? That guy. Put the spark back. Single spark, I think should probably do it. 1566? I think so. What's the TWR? 1.6. That's plenty. That's more than plenty. I'm honestly thinking of maybe even scaling this down a little bit. Like going with this thing on the bottom here. The only reason it's 2.5 meters is because of... And then an Oscar B. And maybe not. What about a few spiders rather than the spark? What's the spark is 20 kilonewtons. The spiders are 2 each. Oh no, let's go back with the spark. That would be a lot of spiders to make up for that. And then I'm thinking, where are those? Just trying to keep the weight down. 1505. That's already tons. Maybe I'll just... 1505 is a little low. What if I lose the big donut? $15.70. I'm happy with that. Okay, we'll do a little bit of... I don't know why I like them silver. Oh, look at that! With the... That's coming from ReStock. I like that. If I put them this way... I like that a lot. Let's sneak them in a little bit. A little bit of extra structure. Okay, so that's 1570. Thrust to weight of 1.51, which is plenty. And blinky lights. Blinky lights. And for those people in the chat, this is where I have the greatest of struggles when it comes to paying attention to the chat, is during while I'm building. And I'm concentrating on my build. Blink on, half-second interval. There are better textures for... Well, I might just do then. If that's like that, let's see if I can bring these down a bit. Now we're into aesthetic choices. Sure. So those are clipping a little less. These can be white. Top can be gray, because it's already gray on the probe body. Oh, the probe body can be silverized. Okay. So 1566, healthy thrust to weight ratio. Yeah, let's get this in orbit. Let's get this done. Let's at least get the keostationary part done. I don't think I'm missing it. This thing has built-in reaction wheels. Yep. So I think this is gonna be okay. So the decoupler, the little one. Oh, this is still the situation where I don't have the little decoupler. Oh, I hate you, game. Oh, I do have the little stack separator, maybe? Yes, I do have the little stack separator, so... Yay for debris! Okay, we'll live with it. You know what? No, I hate debris. TD-12. Turn off the shroud. And we'll just turn down that ejection force. Okay, and this is going to need to be enclosed in a fairing of some kind. Hopefully, can I get, you know what? Stop it. Turn on the interstage nodes. Always find it problematic when the decoupler is that close to the fairing. So we'll just put a little distance between it. Just come up like this. Straight up. Close her off. There. Beautiful fairing. Clamshell deploy. Oh, two pieces, and then just there. That's good. It's not that big, and that should go with that. That's in the right spot. Okay, we just need some sort of lifter. This is going to be Moon Relay 2 in the end. So why don't I call it that right now? And put a rocket under it. So, 1480, 3600. So that's 5,000. 36 and 14 is 5,000. Yes. Yes, 5,000. Carry the 1. 5,000. 5,080 meters per second for a total budget. I'm looking for you, swivel engine. There you are. Okay, it's almost there. I got a healthy TWR. Is it big enough? I could just go with the Reliant. That might... Reliant's a little bit more efficient and a little lighter. Yeah, I think just one more little tank. $14, that's not quite enough. I think I said, yeah, 5,080. I want to go a little more because I want to put fins and junk on it. 5109, that's good. Some tail fins on the bottom. Three should suffice. Some reaction wheels here in the middle. Or somewhere in that general vicinity. What kind of textures do we got here? I don't know what I'm doing. Sure. There we go. That's oh, it's a little, once I started doing that, it's a little bit on the light side. Do I still got the TWR I need? I just want to make sure of that. Oh yeah. So we can put in just a smidge more fuel. A smidge more fuel. That's plenty. That's plenty. Okay, I'd say we're looking at a rocket. Let's adjust the launch TWR a little bit. There we go. I always go for a 3. Now, do I have... Last time, if I click on this... Yeah, there are my action groups. I don't care if this is a bug, I'm going for it. If I click on the part, suddenly I get full action groups, even though... I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. I like full action groups. You can turn on full action groups in the part description, or in the settings anyway. So on action group 5, I'm going to put the fairing, so I won't depend on, you know... the staging for that, and we'll take it out of the staging diagram altogether. On action group 0, we'll deploy these antennas. And that, I think, is a rocket that should get this job done. I just want to read through. Must generate power, fully assembled when launched, and have an antenna. It has those. Got to get into that Keostationary orbit. Hold that stationary orbit above this particular waypoint. We'll get to that in a bit. Have the Science Junior on there. It's there. Have the Mystery Goo on there. It's there. I think we're golden. I think we're golden. We're going to launch. Now, the Keostationary Orbit has an inclination of 0, so we can just launch whenever we want. KSC being on the equator as it is. And then we'll talk about how to get it above that specific waypoint. And then I think that will largely, I think that'll be good. And then the beginning of next week, we'll do the shuffle to the moon so it can act as the relay. But we'll get this contract done. All right, so yeah, throttle up, SAS on, and I'm very paranoid that I'm missing something, but whatever. Nobody's aboard. I think I got lots of money by now. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Okay, boom and boom. We're off. We're off. We're off. We're off. Okay. Did I put on enough blinky lights? Probably not. Probably not. You can never have too many blinky lights. Where I really get the grief about the blinky lights, whoops, let's just get this going right, is should be able to just follow. I think this thing should be aerodynamically sound enough. Just want to get this right on a 90-degree heading. But in my shorts, I get so much grief about the blinky lights because the shorts quite often are sped up. I speed up the playback on the shorts. No. Get back, you stinker. And so the blinky lights are just going berserk. I am really losing. I should have put bigger fairings on here. This thing is really... this might be a loss, folks. This might be a loss. No! No! Okay, I need more this fairing at the top. It happens to all of us. Okay, we're just going to let this... I'm going to call this one a loss. There's nobody aboard. If there are Kerbals aboard, I'd revert to launch. But, you know, it's only money. It's only money. So, you can actually see by the way this is falling how much drag is associated with this fairing. It's really hard to judge. But as soon as you get into the fairings, that always gets problematic. And... boosh, we haven't had enough crashes in this game yet. Oh, I might have been able to set it down. You're right, I probably could have. There's definitely a lot of fuel in there. Oh, well. Let's go back to, I guess, the Space Center. You're right, I could have probably set it down softly, but if the next one fails, I'll try to remember. Yeah, use active fins, says John. That's probably a good plan. I thought the reaction wheels would be enough to hold it. And if I stayed really locked onto that prograde vector, it probably wouldn't have happened, but that's okay. It happens. All right, so, and the thing is that's a little frustrating is if you put on the mass and the lift, see, it tells you that the center of lift is down here, but it's not taking into account the fairing. It flat out isn't, so, you know, that's frustrating. Okay, here, these can be a little bit better placed. So, John was suggesting active tail fins. I could either do that or go with these. Let's go with the active tail fins. What the heck? Hopefully my Delta V won't take too much of a hit from this. So right down like that. Let's do that. And Delta V, I remember was 5,000. Oh, I need more now. Need more. Bigger tank up here. Want to use. Okay, that. Shoot. Let's put one more. I think I got the thrust for it, so I'm not too worried about it. It's gonna do everything darkish. Dark. There we go. All right, and I like to, if I use these guys, tweak down that authority limiter like 8 or something, because I find that it's too aggressive for my taste. Okay. Hopefully I can still get enough thrust for takeoff. Oh yeah, easy. Okay. All right, let's try that. So save, and we'll try it again. Adjust the priority on the fuel tanks. That's a good idea, John. That is a good idea. I think, can I do that from the launch pad? We'll find out. So it was suggested about adjusting the fuel flow priority. Yeah, you can do it from here. If you turn up the fuel flow priority on these lower tanks. So I'll turn that one up to 5. That means this tank will get drained before the other tanks. And then if I turn this one up to like 4, then this tank will be drained second. And then if I turn this one up to like 3, then this one will be next. And then this one will be drained last. And what this does is it keeps the center of mass as far forward as possible, which keeps it hopefully a little bit more aerodynamically stable. We'll find out. That may or may not have been necessary, but it doesn't hurt. Okay, let's try this again. But the whatchamacalls them, these tail fins, bigger tail fins, but also tail fins with some attitude control should help. Over you go. Try and turn that off again. Again, I want it to follow that prograde vector. I like to just turn off SAS and let it do its own natural thing, but whoa, it really wants to roll. What's that like? Not bad. There, 90. Stick on that, you stinker. Really does want to roll, though. Sir. Of course, now the Navball's upside down, it's got me all messed up. Pitching over a little quickly. I'm keeping SAS on. It's pretty good. I don't have the lock to prograde. I don't have that pro body. I could have unlocked the pro body that had. I remember when looking at the science. Here, reduce throttle. I remember looking at the science and seeing that ability. The better probe body was an option when I was in the research and development, and I decided not to go for that. Kind of wish I did. Okay, so we'll reduce throttle here a little bit. Keep that Apple Wapsers from getting too far ahead. Keep it right onto that prograde vector. There we go. What's our altitude? I agree. People are talking about advanced tweakables. That ability to change the fuel flow priority. So just to show you, this tank's now empty. This tank is emptying, and this tank up here is still full. That ability to adjust the fuel flow priority is in advanced tweakables, which is a setting you need to turn on in order to have access to it. I need more thrust. Actually, I probably have pitched over too far. Let's pitch up a bit. But it's not on by default, which is very annoying. It should be on by default. Same with extended burn time indicator. That also is not on by default. And it's the first things, those are the two first things I do when I go into settings, is turn those things on. Okay, I'm just going to let this kind of roll now up until I get to 80 kilometers on the altitude here. We can lose the fairing. That went nicely. Put on our blinky lights. There's probably not too much in the way of blinkiness, but 85 kilometers on the apoapsis. Turn SAS off. A little high on the apoapsis. It's going to tumble on me. Okay. I guess SAS is staying on. If you're going to be that way. Man, it's like you've done this before. Only about a gazillion times. Getting into orbit. And for people that are new, just like I can't say it enough. It's, you know, I can understand people's frustration because so many other space games you go, I'm going to build a, you know, Saturn V rocket and I'm going to go to the moon. And you just do it. And in this game, you're going to get punished severely if you think that you're just going to do that right off the bat. You really do need to practice. Start small. And just think about getting those skills. And then actually, once you have the skills, it's pretty easy to scale up. Scaling up is not that difficult. I am still on the main booster, which I'm happy with. So, get her down here towards the horizon. We're about 45 seconds from apoapsis. Got 374 meters per second on this stage. Jeepers. That was... Either I did my math really badly, or, which is always possible, or that was a much more efficient launch than I anticipated that it would be. Deploy our antennas. Here, let's give a little bit of throttle, because I think I'm going to be able to do this all on the main booster, which I kind of don't want to do. So what I'm going to do, give myself a little bit of time to apoapsis. There. And then we're going to stage, even though there's still 167 meters per second left in there. So that this will end up... Its periapsis is 33 kilometers, so that will end up getting deleted. But I don't want to have this floating around. Of course, I could just delete it in the tracking station, but I don't want to do that either. So I'm just going to get rid of it. We got a lot of fuel. Time warp. Still not quite in orbit. Very, very close, though. Just on the little probe now. Of course, if I run out of fuel on this thing, I'm going to regret having done what I just did. Alright, finish this off. A little bitty spark engine. Oh, this is... Ugh, okay. There we go. Close enough. Close enough. So let's talk about doing this, getting it above this Myrddon's bump. So if I go into map view, here's the orbit we're shooting for. That's easy enough. That's just to transfer out there. But I need to be above, this I guess is it. Yeah, Myrddon's bump. So once I'm in this Keostationary orbit, I will have the same orbital period as the rotation period of Kerbin, which means I'll stay over the exact same spot. And that spot has to be this. So how do you end up doing that? Well, what you need to do is know how long it's going to take you to get from this orbit to this orbit. And it's actually not too hard to calculate. If you can find the formula for orbital period, and I have some math videos on how to do all that kind of stuff, it's just the orbital period of the transfer orbit from here to here divided by 2, because you only do half an orbit to get out to here. And that turns out to be 2.77 hours. I worked it out ahead of time. Clearly, I'm not doing that in my head, which is about 46% of a Kerbin day. So 46% of a Kerbin day is 6 hours. So in a single day, Kerbin rotates 360 degrees, of course. So if you take 46% of that, that comes out to be 166 degrees. So in the amount of time it takes us to get from here up to here, this waypoint will have moved 166 degrees, almost halfway around the planet. So what that means is that you need to, the apoapsis when you start your burn needs to be 166 degrees ahead of this. But remember, you need to burn on the opposite side, right, to raise your apoapsis here. So if you take the 166 and you subtract 180, you get 14 degrees. So you need to launch, you need to start your burn about 14 degrees ahead of this guy. So I hope that didn't sound too complicated, but that's, so basically I need to, if I eyeball this, there's the waypoint, about 14 degrees. I can eyeball it and do, about here is where I need to start my burn to raise this part so that this big angle is 166 degrees. Now, as far as the timing goes, you don't have to do the math. An easy thing to do is simply put a maneuver node. I'm not going to burn this. Push out your apoapsis till it gets out to where it needs to be. And then simply look at what's my time to apoapsis. And it tells you here. It's, why did mine say, why did I think 2 hours? Oh boy. It's saying 1 hour and 23 minutes. My math might stink. Okay. Okay. I might have to go over my math again. Let's move this. Wow. I don't think... Okay, my math stinks. So an hour, and I'm going to call that an hour and 23 minutes. We're going to do a very quick calculation here. 1 hour, which is 60 minutes. 23 minutes divided by... Oh my gosh. 23 minutes divided by 60. That's funny. Plus an hour is 1.4 days. And if I multiply that by 3, or 1.4 hours, if I multiply, or sorry, divide, poop. 23 divided by 60. Math was assuming an 80-kilometer orbit, which was true, but I wouldn't think my orbit's that different. Maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway, 23 divided by 60 plus the 1 hour. And multiply that by, divide that by 6, that's the fraction of a day, times 360. I'm now getting 83 degrees. 83 degrees minus 180 is 97 degrees. Wow, that makes a big difference. So I need to be about 97 degrees ahead of this waypoint, so more like around here. So that this angle... Yeah, this angle from the waypoint to here is 97 degrees. Now, you can eyeball it, and it should work. In fact, I think I will just eyeball it. But if you want to, I'm trying to avoid mods here, but if you want to, if I take a look at Waypoint Manager, it's telling me exactly the longitude of the waypoint. See that? And if I open up Kerbal Engineer, which I forgot to put the chip on here, so it's not going to happen, the Kerbal Engineer can give you your longitude. And then it's dead easy to figure out these angles because you know the longitudes. You just have to subtract them. But anyway, I'm going to just do this generally. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Get this done. So I said, what did I say? Negative 97 degrees, which is... So, of course, as I'm time warping around, let's center this on Kerbin. That'll help. Kerbin is rotating, so this angle's changing as we go. So just give me a moment. We'll get a little close to it. Okay, close. Stop the time warp. Grab this. I want the angle between this maneuver node and that waypoint to be about 97. And as far as my eyeballs go, I'm saying that's close enough. It's a little over 90 is all I'm going by. 90 degrees, of course, is a quarter turn. I'm going with it. It has a generous, you know, generous... Oh, I guess I got to put myself on prograde here and get ready to do this. It has a generous... I can get these words out. You have a generous fudge factor. I don't think that's the word I'm shooting for, but you know, the margins are pretty generous. There's a little bit better. Okay. I'm going to do this burn, 40 seconds, and I'm shooting to get my apoapsis up to 2,863 kilometers and some change. It's a generous allowance. It is. It's pretty good. Of course, I hope I didn't. I got to go over my math. I'm curious. I know people are saying, oh, that's because the math was based on an 80-kilometer orbit and you're in about an 85-kilometer orbit, but I wouldn't think that'd be that different. But Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Okay. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and a 2, and a 1, and a go. You know, my original plan was... Ooh, this has got some lopsidedness to it because of the goo container. I should have put the goo container on top. I should have put this goo container right on top of there, and that would have dealt with the lopsidedness. I was going to put a Kerbal Engineer chip on here. I just forgot to do it because I was in such a frackety-frack hurry. It really wants to turn on me because the center of mass is off. I wouldn't think it'd make that much of a difference, but apparently it does. I'm going to cut throttle really soon. There we go. What am I going for? 8,863. So 2,863. So I'm just looking at my apoapsis. Let's turn down the throttle. Back on program. I'm not even looking at this anymore. 2,863 and some change. And again, there's a generous allowance on that too. So 63 and change. That's good enough. Put the throttle limiter back up. Put that back up to here. And then we'll get into map view. We'll see if I didn't just completely botch this. Which is entirely possible that I completely botched this. Okay, so if all of my hastily done live calculations were correct, and my eyeballing were correct, by the time this probe is up to here, we should be, this waypoint should be right below us. And then of course we got to circularize. Maybe I should do a maneuver for that. That would be a good plan. Whoops. And again, there's nothing too precise about all this. You just need to get anything close to the orbit that you see in green will do fine. So I'm sure that'll be fine. As he's going to go in and start playing with it. I'm just getting it right on the... I'm sure that's fine. Okay. So let's see how this goes. So... I'm gonna go by looks here. So the idea is we're gonna be here when this is right below us. And actually notice that that part of the contract is now green. So it considers, oh, now it's not gone green, it's gone white. Oh boy. But we'll be slowing down up here. Maybe it'll catch up to us again. Oh, it's gone green again. So it's considering us to be close enough to being directly over that waypoint. And of course, as we're slowing down as we approach our apoapsis. Now I should pay some attention to this burn. I think we're golden. I think we're golden. Yep, I think we're good. So yeah, this worked out, right? There's the waypoint. You can't see it here, unfortunately, but I think it worked out. Let's put this onto our... maneuver. Oh, I see pro tips. Pro tip. I'm all about the pro tips. Give me some pro tips. Of course, pro tip number 1 is pay attention to your maneuver node. If you miss getting it in the right spot, just make a somewhat smaller orbit and let it walk. Yeah, absolutely. If this ends up botching it, I mean, if this ended up not working, bring up your periapsis, but just somewhere lower, and then keep just going around until eventually you do end up over top of it. Because you're in an orbit, right? Once you're in an orbit, you're not going anywhere. So it's not a disaster if this didn't work. But I can see here it's green. All I got to do is get the contract parameters to go green on me. Let's get closer to the maneuver node. And if it isn't obvious, I really like... This is the kind of stuff I actually really enjoy in Kerbal Space Program. Is this kind of finagly... Oh my gosh, it really wants to... I should have turned down the thrust limiter. It really wants to pull. But is this kind of orbital mechanic-y, finagly stuff? I find this kind of stuff really satisfying. Oh my gosh. It really wants to pull over. Okay. Just watching the orbital parameters up in the contract there. As soon as they go green, we're good. So up in the top left, there they go. The words just went green. I'm sure there's the obligatory wait 10 seconds. It's probably down here. Yeah. Maintain stability for 10 seconds. There it goes! Contract green. So it considers that to be good enough. Now, I don't know if I consider that to be good enough. I can look at my orbital period. The contract's satisfied, but I'm not. My orbital period is 5 hours, 56 minutes, and 11 seconds. So what I'm going to do is just grab the thrust limiter, bring it way down, keep it on prograde, and start burning until that orbital period is exactly 6 hours, or 1 day. One day and 1 second. I overdid it. And I would continue to play with this, but I'm not going to, because don't forget that my plan is not finished yet. We still have 426 meters per second. I want to take this relay out to the moon where it will act as the second relay. But that is not going to happen right now. That is going to happen for next week. We can do some time warping so we can enjoy what should be. Here, let's stop this for a second. Put it on free. There we go. I do like watching a Keostationary Orbit because if we do some time warping, you can see how we are staying exactly over the same spot on Kerbin as the sun seems to be rotating around us, but of course that's not really how this is working. But anyway, so join us next week where I will take this thing and I will move it out towards the moon. I'm noticing I've just crossed over the 2-hour point, so this is a longer stream. This is the longest one yet. But in the meantime, I do want to thank everybody that's in the chat. I want to thank everybody that's watching this at a later date. And of course, an extra special thank you to all of my Patreon patrons and YouTube members. You're the people that do make this channel possible and keep me going with what I am doing. So thanks everybody. Have yourself a fantastic week and we'll see you all again next Tuesday. Bye.